Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I did a tutorial on this fresh, simple spring type look. It's obviously a very simple look, but I kind of walked you through my face routine and how I would do a more light coverage, glowy look, even though I have oily and acne-prone textured skin, so I hope that helps you out. And then also try to do just a fun spring look that's just a little bit different, brings a little bit of color without being too crazy. So even though this look is super basic and everything, I hope it helps you out and maybe inspires you to try something similar. I'm so glad it's officially springtime now because pastels are some of my favorite colors to use when it comes to makeup, so I plan on doing a lot more pastel colored, like bright makeup looks in the future. So let me know if you would like to see a tutorial on something else like that that's a little bit more interesting than a look like this. So before we get into the tutorial, don't forget to subscribe down below. I've been posting a video once a week, usually about 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. And then also if you want to keep up with me on Instagram and Twitter, my username is @TESSA. It'll be linked down below as well. And then that way you can keep up with my day-to-day life kind of. And I also post more looks on Instagram almost daily, so if you're interested in seeing that, you can go follow me there. And with that being said, let's just get into this simple, glowy spring look. I'm gonna start by using a primer that I've never used before. This is the Pixie Beauty Rose Flash Balm, and I've heard from a few people that they really like this primer because it's really hydrating and then it also gives you like a tacky base. It smells like floral, like roses, like it says in the name. So if you are sensitive to smells, I'm not sure if you would enjoy that. Figured this would be a good primer to try because I feel like it kind of fits the springy theme. Definitely made my face feel tacky, which I think is a good thing because it makes the foundation stick to it. I don't love the smell just because I don't love the smell of roses, but it also feels like pretty moisturizing, so I'll update you and let you know if I like this. Then for foundation, I'm going to use one that I've used quite a bit on my channel, but I just think this is the best foundation for spring and summertime for me anyways. This is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC foundation. I have the shade Fair and it's like my perfect shade, but it also has 50 plus SPF broad spectrum physical sunscreen in it, so it's really good obviously now that the sun's going to be coming out more. And also the coverage is really nice because it can be built up to full coverage, but if you put like a really thin layer, it can be like light medium-ish coverage. So that's what I'm gonna do today since I don't want to have like a full coverage face on for like this fresh springy look. I find that this foundation applies well with both a brush and a sponge, but I think my favorite way is with a sponge. Especially for today because it does soak up a little bit more of the product and you get a little bit more of a natural finish, I think, with the sponge. And today I'm just going to be applying a super thin layer all over my face, and I do have quite a bit of breakouts, especially on this side of my face right now, but I'm not going to worry about it yet. I'm not going to like layer on more foundation just because I want this to be, again, like really fresh looking. Okay, now I have like a super thin layer of the foundation on my face, and as you can probably see, you can see like all of my, I have some like freckles around here, and then I have some breakouts up here and down here. You can definitely see them. And what I like to do if I want to go in with like a more light coverage foundation is go in with this concealer here. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I have the color Vanilla. And I like to take the Beauty Blender straight into the pot and I just kind of pounce it around in there. And I really like using this concealer in particular because of the finish it gives. Sometimes I find with concealer, if you put it over your blemishes, it'll kind of get like a, I don't know, like a dry patch around it, or it just kind of emphasizes the texture around your breakout. I find this one doesn't do that. So I just like to take it on the sponge here, and as you can see, I have a breakout here, and I just pounce it over the top. And I don't know if you can tell, you can obviously see I still have a breakout there, but it's just covered up a little bit more without adding like a whole bunch of coverage to the entire face. For concealer, I'm going to mix two. I'm going to go in again with that same NARS one that I used on my face, and then I'm also going to use this Revlon Youth Fix Fill and Blur Concealer. This is in the color Fair, and I'm pretty much just going to be setting this one down as a little bit of a base because I do have pretty dark under eyes. If I just use this one, it's not enough coverage. This one's a pretty light coverage concealer and it has a really I don't know how to describe the finish, but it's a very natural finish. So instead of going in with like a really full coverage concealer like Shape Tape or something like that, I think for a look like this, it's better to just go in with a little bit of this concealer to cover up the spots that are the deepest, and then I can go in with the more light coverage one to put all over my under eyes. So I'm just going to take it on the tip of my Beauty Blender again, and I'm just going to tap the tiniest bit right here in the hollows of my eyes. That's where it gets the darkest. If you don't have super dark under eyes, you may not even need to do this step. And then I'm going to go in with the Revlon one, and I'm not going to put a ton. I'm just going to put a couple dots under my eye. Since we do have a base down, I just don't want to get cakey. I guess my whole idea behind this look is that I don't want it to seem like you're wearing a ton of makeup. Obviously, you're going to have some face makeup on, but I just want it to look really fresh and not heavy. I used to think that since I had textured and acne-prone skin that I couldn't do makeup like this that was a little bit like less coverage, but I just think it's the way that you apply the products that really helps. Then if you have drier skin, you may not need to set under your eyes, but I have pretty oily under eyes, and then I have like a thick crease under here, so I have to set my concealer or it just looks so gross and cakey. So I'm just going to go in with my favorite loose setting powder. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. I have the color Fair. And I'm going to set my eyes like normal, but I'm just going to put like a little bit less than I normally would, and I'm really going to focus it right where I have this little crease under my eye, because that's pretty much why we're setting the under eyes. I'm not going to drag it down here or down this way at all. It's just going to focus right here. Next I'm going to go in with bronzer, and I'm not really going to contour today. I just want to have like a nice glow to my face. So I'm going to go in with the Hourglass Ambient Luminous Bronze Light bronzer. This is what it looks like. And this one can very easily pull super warm and dark on me, so I'm just going to use the tiniest bit. I'm just going in with this one because it does have kind of a luminous finish, and I guess that's what I'm kind of going for today, is like the glowy fresh look. So I'm going to use this on a pretty like loose fluffy brush. This is a Makeup Shack T7. And again, I'm just using the tiniest bit of this. I'm going to go in with a different bronzer later that I can actually put more on. But I'm just going to lightly dust this wherever the sun would kind of hit my face. So I'm going to go around the perimeters and around my nose and maybe on the bottom of my chin a little bit, just to like chisel a little bit. And then next for bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Anastasia bronzer. I have the color Rosewood. And I'm going to be going in with this one also because it just has a really nice finish, and I feel like this one builds up and blends really nicely. That way I can have like a nice bronze finish, but without going too crazy with this one. So I'm going to go in with a bit more of dense brush. This is the Makeup Shack T20. And I'm going to focus this one just a little bit more in the hollows and like the deeper parts of my face, just to add a little bit extra definition. And for blush, I'm going to be going in with the Becca blush in the color Camellia. I think Camellia maybe. It looks like this. It's a really bright pink, but it has some shimmers to it. If you can see that there, it has like a nice sheen to it. And these blushes are super pigmented, so I'm just going to be going in with the tiniest little tap because I don't want it to get too intense, and I'm just going to put that kind of high up on my cheekbones here and blend it in with the bronzer and then drag it down. I just want to make sure it's not too much right here. I kind of want to lift my cheeks up a bit. And then this part's optional, but if you want kind of like a little sun-kissed look, you can put a little bit of the blush on the tip of your nose. And then for a highlight, I'm actually going to go in with a cream highlight. This is the Clinique Chubby Stick in the color Hefty Highlight. It's kind of like a pink toned highlight, if you can see that there. I feel like these are really underrated products. This is the only color of this that I have, but I have never heard anyone talk about these highlighting sticks. And I don't really love cream highlighters for my skin, but this is definitely one of my favorites. When I have no makeup days, I won't put any foundation on, but I want to highlight, I'll always use this one. I just think it applies to the skin really nice without becoming super greasy or anything. So if you have oily skin, this might be a good cream highlight to look at. And I'm just going to take some of this on the tip of my fingers and warm it up. And I'm going to lightly tap it on the top of my cheekbones. And this is going to be good for today because I have some crazy breakouts going on right here. I don't know if it was a reaction from a highlight that I used or what, but putting powder highlight right here is really emphasizing the texture. so a cream highlight will be really good. And then I think a cream highlight is really good for this look because, again, I'm not going for like a super heavy look. I don't want it to look like you're wearing a lot of face makeup, so obviously putting a powder highlight on will make it look a little bit heavier. So this is a really good option for that. I'm also going to be putting this a little bit on my nose and my Cupid's bow. I'm going to get started on the eyes. I'm just going to use a little bit of this concealer to prime them, and I'm going to set it with like a little bit of powder so it doesn't crease and get too tacky. So for the eyes, I'm going to do something really simple, but I also want it to be a little bit different. I don't want it to just be like one warm brown shade in the crease kind of thing. So I pulled out a couple of palettes that have some nice like pastel or like springy colors. The first one that I pulled out was the Kat Von D Pastel Goth palette, which looks like this. Unfortunately, this isn't available anymore, but I just thought I would mention it in case any of you happen to have it or you find it available somehow. The next one is by NYX, and it's one of their Elements palettes. This is the Air one, and I was mostly looking at this one here, but the peachy colors look like they could be nice also. And then the last one is a new palette by Kylie Cosmetics. This is from their Weather collection. I believe this one is called Calm of the Storm, so it's a lot of matte pastels up here and then some shimmery pastels down here. So I think I'm going to be pulling from those palettes here just to create a super quick, easy eye look. And I think a really fun color for spring is yellow, obviously by my background. And I think yellow and like baby pink or pink looks really good together. So that's going to be the kind of idea for the look that I'm creating today. So I'm going to start by going in with this shade here from the Kylie palette. It's like a orangish yellow color, kind of like a pastel mac and cheese shade. And I'm going to take it on a T50 brush from the Makeup Shack. And it looks kind of like not deep, but it doesn't look super pastel in the palette. But once you apply it on your eyes, it definitely has that pastel vibe. So I'm just gonna be running this throughout my crease and really messy. This is gonna be a super easy look. There's gonna be no precision to it, just something really quick, but also a little bit colorful. So I'm thinking I'm gonna keep my entire eye yellow. That's just what I wanna go for today. But if you want to do something similar to this, you can go in with like a pink or a pastel purple or any pastel color. I think matte all over your eye would just look really good for springtime. Yellow just makes me really happy, so we're gonna go with yellow. But like I said, this is gonna be a super easy eye look, so I'm gonna go in with that same exact shade that I just used in my crease, and I'm going with just a flat shader brush. This is a Morphe 124, and I'm gonna apply that all over my lid. And then I'm also gonna brighten it up, so technically we'll be using 2 shadows on our eyes. But the whole base of the eye is going to be this color right here. Now that we have that down, just to brighten it up a little bit and make it pop just a little bit, I'm going to go in with a white eyeshadow. This one is Destroyed. It's Sugar Pill Taco. I'm just going to use that same brush and I'm going to pop it on the very center of my eyelid. And I'm also going to apply that on my inner corners to really brighten it up. This white shadow in particular is super brightening, so I'll do a good job of just opening up my eyes. And then go on with that main color, this color again. I'm going to take it on a Makeup Shack T67, just like a tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to run that on my lower lash line. And when I connect the lower lash line to the upper lash line, I'm just going to make sure to blend it outwards, that way it's kind of smoked out. That's honestly pretty much it for the eyes. Like I said, it's super simple and pretty different from my channel, but I just think it's a good way to do a super quick makeup look, but also make it kind of fun, you know? So now I'm going to go in with some mascara on my upper and lower lashes. This is the Tarte Man-Eater mascara. And also, I didn't do it because I actually don't have a white or a nude liner right now, but if you happen to have a nude or a white eyeliner, you could also pop that in your lower waterline here. That'll also help just brighten up your eyes and make them look a little bit bigger. I just don't have one right now. Or if you have a yellow one, you could put a yellow one in there too, and that would be really fun. Next, I'm going to pop on some lashes, and you definitely don't have to wear lashes with a look like this. I just want to because I like the way that they look. And I'm going to use one of my favorite like everyday type lashes. These are the Makeup Shack Paris lashes. And as you can see, they kind of flare out the ends, but they're also fairly short compared to like other false lashes, and they also have a lot of like they're very like separated, which I think looks really good. So I'm just going to apply these really quickly and I'll be right back. Alright, now all that's left is lips, and I'm going to go in with a kind of bright pastel pink pencil. This is the NYX lip pencil in Dolly Pink, and this one is pretty bright, and I don't want to have like a super bright pink lip. I just want it to be like light and bright and soft though. So I'm going to just like lightly line my lips with this and then blend it in with my finger so it's not so harsh. I'm basically using this for a little bit of color and mostly just definition around the sides of my lips because I do have very small lips, and I'm going to end up adding gloss, and I think this will help a lot to make them look a little bit bigger. Alright, now that I have a little bit of that to define my lips, I'm going to go in with a gloss, and this is the ColourPop Lip Gloss in Fairy Floss. It's kind of a pink, baby pinkish nude. It's one of my favorite glosses by them, and like I've said before, their glosses are some of my favorite glosses out there. So I'm just going to apply that on the center of my lips. And we're pretty much done with this look, and then I'm going to add something optional if you would like to. If you don't want to, obviously that's cool, that's fine. But something that I like to do during the spring and summertime is go over my freckles. So I have like two pretty big freckles here, and then I have some really faint freckles on my nose here, and then I have some out here. I like to go in with the NYX eyebrow gel, which seems super weird, but it's basically this like, I don't know if you can call it like a paste inside of here. This is the color Chocolate, and it's just my favorite way to bring out my freckles again since I covered it up with like foundation, concealer and stuff. So I like to just go in with a little tiny detail brush. This is one of those ones from Michaels. You can get them at like any craft store. And I squirt a little bit of this onto the back of my hand here, and I'll just dip my brush a little bit in, and then I will tap over the spots where I want to bring back my freckles. See, I just tapped it over there, and it's not too intense, but if you find that it's a little bit too intense, you can just go over with the sponge that you used and just tap that over a little bit, because the leftover foundation or concealer that you have on it will just diffuse the color of this a little bit. And another reason that I like to do this is if say I have a breakout right here, and you can obviously still see the texture, so I'll just put a little dot over it, and it ends up looking kind of like a beauty mark instead of an acne spot. Okay, and that pretty much completes this fresh, simple, spring type look. I hope that even though this look was super simple, that it maybe inspired you to do something different with your makeup routine, or you just enjoyed watching it. I'm always nervous doing more simple looks like these, that they're too like, I don't know, basic and you've already seen it like too many times, but I just figured I would put this routine out there since it is officially spring. And I hope you learned some new tips and tricks if you do have some blemishes or textured skin and you feel like that you can't pull off like a fresh spring look like this. You definitely can. It's just about how you use the products, I think. Again, don't forget to subscribe on your way out. I post one video a week, usually on Wednesdays about 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then all of my other social media channels, Instagram, Twitter, will be linked down below, and everything is at TESSA. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!